back to another lecture. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the communication interfaces such as the push button switch and various other things. In this lecture, we will discuss about the onboard communication interface. So the first one is inter-integrated circuit bus, also called as the I2C bus. Important points to be written in this topic is you have to write about the bidirectional half duplex and the two-wire serial bus interface, and also explain about the two bus lines that are present in the I2C, that is SCL line and SDA line. The serial clock line is responsible for generating synchronization between the clock pulses, whereas the serial data line is responsible for transmitting the serial data across devices. And the mechanism used is the master and slave, and I2C supports multi-masters on the same bus. Now we'll look into the block diagram of I2C bus. So this is the block diagram of I2C bus. It has one master, and the master device could be a microprocessor or controller, and it has two slave devices, slave 1 and slave 2. These are the I2C devices which is connected at the receiving end, and the bus lines used are SCL and SDA. The master block has two pins, that is SCL and SDA. It is connected to the bus lines. Similarly, the slave also has two select lines, that is SCL and SDA. Whenever there is data transfer, the SDA line is set to high, and when there is when the clock is very high, we see that there is synchronization and the data is transmitted. To further discuss on the master device pulls the clock line, that is the SCL line, to high, and the master device pulls the data line to low. When the data line is pulled to low, it means that it's the start condition for the data transfer, and the master device sends read or write bit. If the bit value sent is 1, then it is read operation. If the bit value sent is 0, then it's write operation. After the operations are performed, the master device sends the 8-bit data to the slave device over the SDA line if the request is write to device. If the requested operation is read from device, then slave sends the data to the master over the SDA line. Finally, the connection is stopped by pulling the SDA line high and the SCL line to high. This terminates the condition, and finally the process is completed. So the next one is serial peripheral interface, also called as SPI. It is a synchronous bidirectional full duplex 4-wire serial interface bus, and it has 4 signal lines. The signal lines are master out slave in, also called as MOSI, and master in slave out, called as MISO, and serial clock, called as S clock, and the slave select bar, that is the SS bar. It is the signal line for the slave device to select, and it is always in an active low signal. So this is the block diagram of serial peripheral interface. It has one master and 3 slaves connected, and the pins are serial clock, MOSI, MISO, and as 3 slaves are connected, there are 3 select lines for the slave. SS1 whole bar. If SS1 whole bar is enabled, then the slave 1 is enabled. If SS2 whole bar is enabled, then slave 2 is enabled. If SS3 bar is enabled, then SS bar of slave 3 is enabled. So it works based on the principle of shift register. The master and slave devices contain a special shift register for the data to transmit or receive, and the size of the shift register is normally 8-bit. Next, we'll discuss about UART. UART refers to Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter, and it is an asynchronous form of serial data transmission. The serial communication settings such as the baud rate, number of bits per byte, parity, and the number of start bits and stop bits along with the flow control is taken care for both the transmitter as well as the receiver. While sending a byte of data, a start bit is added first and a stop bit is added at the end of the bit stream. So this is the block diagram of UART. Next is one-wire interface. One-wire interface is an asynchronous half-duplex communication protocol and it was developed by the Dallas. It allows power to be sent along the signal wire as well. So the single wire, it supports single master and one or more slave devices on the bus. This is the block diagram of one-wire interface in which it has one master and multiple slaves connected to them, and it is connected through the signal line called DQ. The sequence of operation for communicating in a one-wire slave device is: the master device sends a reset pulse on the one-wire bus. The slave device present on the bus responds with the presence pulse. After that, the master device sends the address of the slave device to which it wants to initiate a communication. The master device sends a read or write function command to read or write in the internal memory or register of the slave. In this way, communication happens in the one-wire interface. Next, we'll discuss about parallel interface. The onboard parallel interface is normally used for communicating with the peripheral devices and which are memory mapped to the host of the device. And the control signals for communication include read or write signal and the device select signal. So this is the block diagram of parallel interface. Here we can see read or write signal and also two buses. One bus is for data and another bus is for address bus, and it is bidirectional in nature. And the bus width is supported by the device should be same as that of the host processor, as it is bidirectional communication. Parallel data communication offers the highest speed for data transfer. Next, coming to the external communication interface, the first one is RS-232C. RS refers to recommended standard 232 with its revision C, and RS-232 extends the UART communication signal for the external data communication. As per the EIS standard, a logic 0 is represented with a voltage levels between +3 and +25 volts, and logic 1 is represented with the voltage between -3 and -25 volts. And RS-232 interface defines various handshaking and control signal for its communication, both at the transmitter as well as at the receiver. So RS-232 supports two different types of connector. One is DB9 connector and another is DB25 connector. In DB9 connector, there are totally 9 pins as shown in the diagram, and in DB25 it has 25 pins, and each pin is configured to perform a particular function such as transmission, reception, request to send, clear to send, and ground signals. So this is the communication diagram, block diagram, and how transmission and reception happens between two devices. Similar to RS-232, there are other standards such as 422 and 485, which performs similar to 232, but the pin configuration is different. Next one is USB. USB is also called as Universal Serial Bus. It is a wired high-speed serial bus used for data communication, and it follows star topology. Star topology is the arrangement of physical devices in which a single host is connected to multiple devices. Here you can see the USB host is connected to 3 peripheral devices, and the USB transmits data in packet format. USB further has 4-pin configuration: V bus, which carries the supply, that is the power supply of 5 volts, D plus and D minus, which is the differential data carrier line, and the 4th pin is the ground signal line pin. And USB supports 4 different types of data transfer. One is control transfer, bulk transfer, isochronous data transfer, and interrupt transfer.